Will Carroll joins us now, sports injury expert, formerly Sports Illustrated. He's consulted with multiple MLB teams, and he's now on Under the Knife on Substack. Will, good to see you again. It's been a long time. Welcome back.
Thanks a lot, Brian.
Give me your thoughts on Ohtani and the tear.
Yeah, this is tough. You know, obviously one of the best players in the game, one of the most fun to watch, and now to see half of his game go away. It is interesting. You know, unlike most pitchers, he can just pick up a bat and continue to contribute as he did in Game 2. The thing to remember here first is we still don't know the significance of this tear. How much is that UCL sprain? The second is you have to remember this is an already repaired ligament. He had the reconstruction done in 2018. So if he has to have Tommy John again, it'll be the second time. It's not significantly different. The procedure is exactly the same. But the thing to remember is, much like Bryce Harper last year or Trevor Story this year, there's really no reason that Shohei Ohtani can't continue to be one of the best hitters in the league, because the UCL is not stressed in a typical batting motion.
Okay, second Tommy John surgery, what does that mean? What are the odds of being able to come back from that as opposed to the first one?
It's much the same. You know, we don't have a lot of these. We've had guys that have had 3 and even 4. So the revision is exactly the same. You're going to reconstruct the ligament with another tendon. Usually it's going to be a hamstring tendon. So you've got several of those, so it's not going to be a problem there. The operation, the rehab, exactly the same. Now, again, we don't know how significant this is, so there's a couple other options on the table for him that there weren't just a few years ago. The first is what Trevor Story had, an internal brace repair, where they actually repair the ligament, overlay a piece of fiber over it, and in that case, you can come back much quicker. We've seen the Rays have done a couple of these. Dr. Keith Meister down in Texas seems to be the leader in this, along with Jeff Dugas in Birmingham. But you can come back quicker from that and hit along the way. And if this is a small tear, maybe he can do PRP, some stem cells, and come back, though there's certainly not enough time left in the season for him to pitch this season.
Okay, that's interesting. Good to know. I want to take a look at the velocity for Ohtani. StatCast is powered by Google Cloud. You can see the velo. Mentioned in the WBC, he was sitting 98, 99. He normally sits 97, right? So the World Baseball Classic is at 99. Now, maybe it's a little discrepancy there with how it's being, marked. But normally he's sitting 97. Yesterday's at 93. Should that have been a warning sign for the Angels? I mean, is that 4 miles per hour? How abnormal is that?
That's very abnormal. Normally we see these kind of drops with shoulder injuries, but he was obviously, something had happened. We don't know exactly what pitch this happened. We don't know, as I said, the cramping and the fatigue. He never reported pain. I'm certain they did imaging. One of the more interesting things is that this was all announced, and I don't know this for a fact, but I don't think he's had the MRI yet, or at least hadn't when they announced it. They did this between games. He didn't leave the stadium. That was confirmed. I think they did this based off ultrasound, which is a fairly new technology. People have seen this when you go in, you see your kid before it's born. Same kind of technology. They were seeing his ligament. So it surprises me. Normally we wait for the confirmation from the MRI, but it's a good technology. So it gave them enough certainty to at least announce it. We'll have to see just how significant that tearing is before we know what the course he'll have. And of course, free agency and that big contract complicate everything.
Yeah, I thought that was an MRI. They mentioned imaging. I thought it was an MRI that they did between games. Yeah. I want Mike Trout.
No, as far as I can tell, it was ultrasound.
Really?
As far as I can tell, it was ultrasound with the MRI coming later.
Okay, we'll check on that. Thoughts on Mike Trout? Also, buried in the middle of that was, Mike Trout's going back on the IL. The hamate bone still there, still an issue. He's not responding well. Give me your read on that.
Well, they've cut off the part of the bone that was fractured. The hamate has a hook on it, and it doesn't heal very well, so they normally just saw it off. It's very simple surgery. The problem was we knew he was having pain. He was talking, there was an ESPN article with Alden Gonzalez where he said, it's still sore. I know it's going to happen, but I'm going to get out there. Yeah, the Angels have this sort of all-in thing with Ohtani. They went out and got Giolito and others. They brought up their first-round pick. So it's a situation where Trout obviously rushed back. He understood there was going to be pain. I think with Ohtani out, they realized there was no need for him to go through this, no need for him to suffer. I just don't think it was working it didn't take long to figure out that it wasn't.
Yeah, bad news after bad news. Again, Will Carroll, he's on Substack now, Under the Knife on Substack.